and the mainstream media would not lie about this, Apple Incorporated, their new smartphone is saving the planet. So I'm just going to sit here and read this story, and you can do what you want to with it. As we see, one of the top 100 stories on planet Earth, somewhere between the collapse of the world's oceans, August being the hottest month in the history of the planet or something like that. What else do we have? We have North Korea, getting ready to blow up San Francisco with nuclear warheads. Oh, just another day on the planet. But somewhere in that mix, while I was trying to decide what to rant about, this story. Top 100 stories on the planet. Apple touts environmental upgrades in latest iPhones. So Apple is touting its environmental upgrades. Apple has given its latest iPhone an environmental upgrade to go along with its better camera and a few new features. The iPhone 6S and 6S Plus, both of these, have reduced their carbon emissions by 14 to 16% from last year's models, according to Apple measurements that quantify how much pollution is caused during the production, distribution, consumer usage, and recycling of the devices. Of course, what I don't know whether or not it factors in having to throw away last year's model in order to buy the new environmentally upgraded model. So whether throwing away the perfectly good, I hate to use the words perfectly good to describe a smartphone, but you know what I'm saying, cause you want it to be a different color or whatever. No mention of the what is that I've done rants on, those conflict elements in the smartphones over there from the Congo or wherever, all of that sub-Saharan Africa bloodshed going into human slavery. I don't know if that was factored in to their 14 to 16% reduction in carbon emissions. Okay, most of these new environmental improvements reflected changes made in the purchasing and manufacturing of the aluminum used in the iPhone enclosures. There you go. Lisa Jackson was Lisa Jackson some sort of EPA administrator or something? Sure, tell me that that Apple Incorporated, how do they define Lisa? Lisa Jackson is described as Apple's top environmental executive. Guys, I have... Jesus, you know what I have lost. Oh. Lisa Jackson, Apple's top environmental executive, told the Associated Press on Wednesday, I don't know whether she called AP or AP called her, that carbon emissions tied to the production of those iPhone enclosures have in fact been cut in half from last year. Okay, but you know, Apple, you know, they're Apple is a very humble global corporation, so they're not actually going to be out there tooting their own horn in their ads for the iPhone. So although these environmental gains will not be highlighted in any of Apple's ads, the company is hoping its faithful customers will appreciate the progress. Quote, "We feel it is really important to tell folks what we did," Jackson said. "We should not keep these kinds of ideas in a box because we believe other folks should be doing exactly the same thing." I've got to Google Lisa Jackson to see. You know, I honestly don't know if let's see, Lisa Jackson from Apple. Let's see. Let's look up Lisa. What is her job? Oh, there's Lisa. She looks so friendly. She's the Vice President of Environment Policy and Social Initiatives. Let's see. Where was she? Okay. I knew I recognized this name. You know, we talk about the revolving door. All of these, both eco-Nazis and conspiracy wackos. From 2009 to 2013, Lisa served as the administrator of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency appointed by President Barack Obama. She focused on reducing greenhouse gases, protecting air and water quality, preventing exposure to toxic contamination, and expanding outreach to communities on environmental issues.
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horseshit.
So Lisa Jackson going directly from the White House to Apple Incorporated. And who's that new one they got in there? I can't remember that clueless bitch's name. That new one who went from a fracking company over to the EPA. So we've gone from an iPhone executive to a fracker in the Barack Obama administration, or at least, you know what I'm saying. They going. It's hard to keep the revolving door straight. I wonder where she made the most money. Take a wild guess where Lisa's making the most money. Other major technology companies also have been trying to reduce their pollution caused by their digital services and products, usually by investing heavily in hydroelectricity.
Bullshit alert.
And renewable energy, blah, blah, blah. By some estimates, technology products and services account for as much of the world's carbon emissions as the airline industry. Oh, so it's not just Apple saving the planet. Besides Apple, both Google Incorporated and Facebook Incorporated have also been praised by environmental groups.
That was bullshit.
Praised by environmental groups for reducing their reliance on power plants that burn coal and natural gas. Oh, Jesus. Blah, blah, blah. They go back to talking about this aluminum is part of their, I guess, their new environmental resolve. Apple put a higher priority on equipping its latest iPhones with aluminum produced with hydroelectric power. Can you say, like, the Belo Monte Dam, for instance, the Glen Canyon Dam, Hoover Dam, the Grand Coulee Dam? I wonder which one of these dams that they use to save the planet, that Apple's using to save the planet, if they're processing aluminum with hydroelectric power. I'm gonna guess that it's one of these planet-eating dams down in Latin America. I'm not sure about that. So, getting back to the former Barack Obama EPA administrator, now working for the global corporatocracy, quote, referring to using hydroelectric power to process aluminum for a smartphone. Using hydroelectric power to process aluminum for a smartphone. There you go. As a way to save a planet. Quote, "It's a first step, but it's the kind of work you have to do to turn the corner. At the end of the day, if the environment is one of our values, then we also want it to show up in our products."
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
Oh, God. Yep. Let's look up, okay. I'm teaching you how to be an investigative reporter. Let's see. Processing aluminum with hydroelectricity. Environmental damage. Environmental damage from processing aluminum with hydroelectricity. I get 446,000. Now let's take the first one, ScienceDirect.com, the first of 446,000 results. This is these environmental groups praising Apple. Environmental and social impacts of hydroelectric dams in Brazilian Amazonia, implications for the aluminum industry. This is the okay, summary. Well, first they have the highlights. Decisions on dams ignore the high impact and low benefit of aluminum exports. Dams impact global warming, local populations, indigenous peoples, and biodiversity. And electricity is the principal input for aluminum smelting. Okay, so here's I'm just going to read the summary. Okay, let's go back. So what did the former head of the EPA say about processing aluminum with hydroelectric power? Quote, "It's a first step, but it is the kind of work you have to do to turn the corner. At the end of the day, if environment is one of our values, then we also want it to show up in our products." Okay, so this is what we're doing. Summary. Aluminum smelting consumes large amounts of electricity and helps drive dam building